This is Thomas Day, Chief Sustainability Officer at the United States Postal Service. Today I want to address the issue of environmental data collection and the various issues that we've encountered while here at the U.S. Postal Service and how we try to make it as successful as possible. There's three main challenges that we find really everyone will have to deal with. For the purpose of this presentation, we're going to split them into three very specific topics, although I think you will find as we go through the discussion, there is clearly an overlap that occurs between these three groups. However, as we go through the presentation, we'll treat the topics independently just for the purpose of this briefing. So first up are just fundamental data challenges. There are, of course, many databases in organizations. The idea that there's a single centralized database where everything is stored just simply is not the way organizations are set up. What's critical then to understand is you have these multiple databases of information you're trying to draw together for the reports you're creating is what we call an inventory management plan. And what that is just basically a high-level plan that outlines the various data sources. What's important to understand is this is not a one-time activity. This is something that you must review and update every year because as we have found out, I'm sure you will be the same, that various databases can be altered for a variety of reasons. So it is critical in the inventory management plan to document these data sources with a description of what it is that's contained and that you keep detailed records of who are the contacts and what is going on with these databases. And by contacts, we actually mean people. Who are the people you can contact? Where are they within the organizational structure? Names, phone numbers, titles, and all of those things. That's what all comes together. And again, that becomes some of this interaction because that's the transition between the data itself and the people that are involved. What we have found in our own history of putting together our various reporting mechanisms is that there can be some surprisingly different outcomes to the drawdown of the data. Changes in data feeds can change the outcome. Things are added in, things are taken out. What's important to understand is year to year what that data looks like and when changes to occur, what is the purpose and reason why that happens. So a year-to-year comparison is very important. In many ways, as the slide says, you have to address this issue like you're an auditor yourself. Let's go on to the people challenges, which I've already alluded to. What is critical here is maintaining information for who those various people are. That is not a one-time encounter. I know in any organization of size, you're going to see a constant change of people in and out of positions. You'll even see changes in organizational structure. It's important to maintain those relationships, not just by recording it on paper, but actually talking and meeting with those individuals to understand who they are and what is going on. Keeping close contact with those individuals is really critical to making sure that the data collection is done in a proper and timely manner. I can't stress enough that it's an interpersonal action. This is not just about sending emails and text messages. This is about meeting with these individuals to explain what it is you need. The slide very specifically says, are you speaking the same language? That's not a difference between English and German and Spanish or Chinese. It's technical language. We, in the world of sustainability, trying to gather data for scope 1, 2, and 3, cannot expect that everybody understand exactly what that means. And vice versa, they have technical language for what it is they do. It's important that you sit down and meet and talk to them, and so you can translate that technical language amongst the organizational structure and come to a clear understanding as to what it is you need from them and how that data is going to be used. What goes hand in glove with this people and data challenge is organizational challenges. We have, as I'm sure many organizations in the postal realm have gone through, are a variety of organizational structural changes. We've seen it in our facilities group, who's responsible for the upkeep and maintenance of our 33,000 facilities. They've done a number of changes through the years. In the last 5 years, it's important that we stay in touch with them, as is true with our supply management group that does the contracts and work orders for our energy contracts that we have around the U.S. Postal Service. Keeping in touch with them to understand how they're structured. Does that structural change in any way begin to alter databases or even entire data systems? And again, most importantly, the interaction with key people. As these individuals change, you need to know who the replacements are, and as soon as it's practical, set up meetings with them to understand what's going on with the changes on their part, but also so they understand what type of data that you need yourself in order to put together your reports. Again, we cannot stress enough that your ability to maintain your contacts and allow plenty of time for the data gathering. In our case, we do different data gathering during the year. We have a fiscal year that ends at September, but we also have, like most, the annual report that also is generated at the end of December. Timing is important. If you need a report for the end of the calendar year, it's not appropriate to ask for that at the very last minute. Allow for the time and coordination to understand how the data is set up, how it's going to be drawn down, and how you're going to put it together, and probably just as importantly, verify that there's accuracy, and to the extent there's anomalies that you can have some time to go in and verify what's happened. So maintain the contacts and allow yourself plenty of time to put all of that together. So that's a very high-level view of what it is that we have done to meet the requirements of environmental data collection. Again, we've broken it down into 3 critical areas: the data itself and the databases and the structure of those databases. I can't emphasize enough number 2, which is people. Understand who are the appropriate managers responsible for databases, maintain direct personal contacts, make sure that you've translated the technical language so you understand how they're set up and what your needs are, and that that is clearly understood both in terms of what you want and the timing, allowing enough time to make all of that happen. And then last but not least is this organizational structure. To the extent you're going through change, the individuals in positions is one thing, but the actual organizational structure is something else to understand, and to understand whether or not that structural change is in any way altering databases. Those are the 3 critical things that we have worked through. We have firsthand experience in dealing with all of that to make sure that we can get the data to be accurate and in a timely manner, and to meet the tests that auditors are looking at to validate that the data is correct. So thank you very much. That's our high-level view, and I'll be glad to take any questions that you might have.